evening, folks, and welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. As always, I am your host, Tiffany Daniels. Sorry, hit a tin down there, popcorn tin. Anyways, so I'm kind of in between takes watching the news right now. As always, a political junkie, so I got this brief interval before they move on to the rest of it, and I start seeing who appointed who to what. It's important for us advocates to know who our allies and who our enemies are going to be, but that's neither here nor there. Alright, so as you know, I've said in earlier videos that trolls tend to cycle through tactics, as one tactic seems not to work, right? If they can't get you angry enough to get you banned off Twitter, they're going to try something else, until they cycle back to what they started with in the beginning. Well, last night, it was again about the bots. And it was this girl who's on Twitter called Allie Maynard, who went on a rant about Depp's one of the most well-funded social media bot campaigns she's ever seen in regards to Depp. Now, other than the fact that obviously we are not bots, and just to be my smart-ass self, I did a picture and linked this exact YouTube channel to prove it. Didn't even say anything mean, and of course in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 was blocked. Here's the thing that they don't seem to understand. JD has stated repeatedly, and I do mean repeatedly, that he is not tech savvy at all. At all. In fact, he has another individual running his Insta for him due to this fact. So tell me, how is someone who's not really internet or social media savvy all of a sudden this technological wonderkin that can orchestrate a massive bot campaign? The logic doesn't work. The logic literally has never worked. As far as being well funded, you see this couch here? It's from the 90s. It doesn't even retain its original white. It's somewhere between pea green and vomit yellow. If we were so well funded, believe me, I'd have a much better looking couch. Alright, and when their normal tactics do not work, they're going to try to pull on the heartstrings. So, what am I talking about? Guilt. In regards to the JD versus AH case, how they're applying it is very similar to how some of the parents of the folks at the Judge Rotenberg Center would try to apply it to us. It is a very much shame on you for protecting an abuser. Shame on you. I hope it never happens to you or somebody that you know to not only be a victim but to be harassed on social media. First of all, and I did see this earlier today, that's projection. You see, Ms. Heard was not a victim. There is absolutely no evidence that shows me that she's a victim. There is a ton of evidence, even without the audios, that she was the abuser. Not to mention, with the audios, you have a lot of DV survivors who hear their abusers in AH. Many of them had to really struggle when listening through those audios because they were reliving what they went through. So, this is one of those cases, just like the Judge Rotenberg Center, we're trying to guilt folks into submission for supposedly supporting an abuser won't work. Guilt can only work when one doesn't have all the facts, when one doesn't already know of all the evidence that is out there. With the Rotenberg Center, it was, we had the tapes. We had the tapes. It wasn't a mild shock when a man is on the floor screaming, help me, please God, help me. No, 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 no. Sorry. You know, for a fact, that it wasn't just a little shock to get their attention in order to correct a behavior like they were trying to push, or that it was a gentle shock to stop them from self-harm. Nor was it protecting themselves from self-harm by strapping them down and continuing this sort of behavior. We've got the same thing with those who try to guilt us into supporting AH. That can only work if the person you are speaking to has not already reviewed the transcripts, heard the audios, seen all the pictures and the evidence. If the media can't turn us, what makes AH stands think that they would be able to guilt us into supporting someone that we know by the facts is the actual perpetrator? Now, they do a certain thing when they apply guilt. If at first they don't succeed, they appeal to authority. What appealing to authority means is that they tout a certain title or a job description to make themselves seem the expert, so that you would then submit to their superior expertise. This person mentioned that they worked with hundreds of DV survivors as their job position. That was the first thing out of their mouths when they started to reply. Back to Q, who did the initial tweet that started this dialogue. Appeal to authority only works, again, when one doesn't have all the facts. So, I am curious if this is going to be a tactic that they end up cycling back to, like the bots. It'll be very interesting to find out. Now, as always, you can always choose to engage politely at least once. I did not. I let my smartassism and my own emotions get a little bit of the better of me. I still wasn't cruel, though. I try not to be. Or, best case scenario, usually folks that go and they appeal to authority and they say shame on you, unless they show they are actually open to open dialogue, instead of scolding you condescendingly like you're a 5-year-old child, there is no talking them out of their position. So if you come across these folks, if you choose to engage, okay. But best advice, and hopefully I take my own advice for once in my freaking life is to ghost and block these folks. You can be an expert and still be ignorant and prejudiced. In the disability community, we see that in so-called experts all the time and everywhere. Alright, folks, that's all I got for this evening. Now, if you could, we don't get many views on this channel, and the few that we do tend to get removed by YouTube. So if you could, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit those comments. I do appreciate your time today, and I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.